Hello yogis, thank you for joining me today. Let's meet in a kneeling seat on our mats and just take some time to arrive, bringing the hands to a prayer at heart center, taking a few breaths here. Let's inhale through the nose, feeling the breath fill the belly and the chest and the back, and then exhaling again through the nostrils, releasing the air, feeling the belly constrict. Inhaling and exhaling, just arriving here in your body, in this space, taking a moment to quiet down the thoughts of the day, finding a stillness in your body and in your mind, and perhaps taking a moment here to set an intention for the rest of the day, thinking about how you'd like to complete your practice or how you'd like to go about your day. If you can't think of anything, I invite you to use my intention of just being grateful for the things that are bountiful in my life and that bring me great joy and security. And when you're ready, just tapping the forehead down to the fingertips to seal that intention in, getting ready for the rest of the practice. We're going to walk the hands forward and come to find a tabletop position, knees below the hips, shoulders above the wrists, before inhaling to our cow pose, dropping the belly down, shoulders away from the ears, lifting the chest and the chin, and exhaling, finding cat pose, arching into the back, pushing the shoulders up, before inhaling to cow, dropping that belly down, shoulders down away from the ears, and exhale to cat, really rounding into that spine, pushing the shoulders up. Inhaling for cow, tailbone up to the sky, and exhale, finding that cat, tucking the tailbone, pulling in the ribs. Inhaling back to cow pose. Pushing into the shoulders, arching the spine, tucking the chin for cat. Coming to a neutral tabletop now and extending the right leg out behind you, flexing the right foot, making sure the hips are squared down. When you found your base, firming into the right hand and reaching the left arm up towards the top of your mat, taking a big inhale. As you exhale, bringing the knee to your elbow underneath you, and then inhaling, reaching out again. As you exhale, bringing the elbow to the knee underneath you, and inhaling, reaching out, right arm, right leg straight, stretching that right leg back and left arm forward. You're going to bend the right knee. Option to stay here or to reach the left hand to the inside of the right foot and kick the foot into the hand, arching the back. Coming back down, right leg folds down to find your tabletop. Ready for 3 more rounds of cat-cow, so dropping that belly down, lifting the chest, inhaling and exhaling for cat, arching into the back. Inhale as you drop the belly down, reaching the chest forward, and exhale, rounding into the back, tucking the tailbone, pulling in the ribs. Inhale for cow, and exhale for one last cat, before coming back to our tabletop and reaching the left foot back this time, arching the foot, making sure the hips are square, reaching the right arm forward, and as you exhale, bringing the elbow to the knee. Inhale, reaching the foot back, arm forward. Exhale as you bring the knee to the elbow underneath you. One more, reaching forward as you inhale, stretching the body long, and exhale, tightening out, bringing the elbow to the knee. Coming back And then bending the left knee, and if it's an option for you, reaching the hand to the inside of the foot, kicking into the hand, arching the back. Try to keep the shoulders square to the front of the mat, and then coming back down to find your tabletop. From here, lifting the right arm up and open towards the sky for a nice twist before threading the needle, bringing the right shoulder behind the left wrist and opening the left hand up to the sky, twisting the back, opening up the chest, taking a few deep breaths here. Before finally bringing the left hand under the shoulders, opening the right arm up to the right, and finding your tabletop again for the other side, lifting the left arm up to the sky, and thread the needle. Left shoulder comes behind the right wrist, right arm can go up towards the sky, opening the chest, making sure that the hips are still above the knees. On your next exhale, bringing the right hand under the shoulders, lifting the left arm up for another twist before finding your tabletop again. Next, we're going into puppy pose, so just check the knee is directly below the hip before walking the hands forward, bringing the chest down towards the mat as far as you can go. You could bring your forehead down to the mat, or if it's comfortable, your chin for a slightly deeper stretch, and just taking a few breaths here, slowing down the breathing, taking one more big exhale before inhaling forward onto the tummy, propping yourself up on your forearms, yearning the chest forward for Sphinx pose. Tops of the toes are down on the mat, and then bringing the head down. Hands come beneath the shoulders and pushing back to a child's pose. Knees go wide, toes come together. Our first child's pose of the day. Taking a moment to feel into this space and know that at any point during the practice you can return back to this position. Take a moment of rest. Feeling the breath in your belly against your thighs as you slow down. One more inhale here, and then coming forward to find your high plank. So we're going to tuck the toes, straighten the legs, and push up to find your high plank. Lowering the knees down, slowly halfway push up, chaturanga option, before inhaling and lifting the chest for a cobra pose. Legs are still flat down on the mat, and rolling as you exhale to find your first downward facing dog. Take a moment here to bend one knee at a time, feeling into the dog, extending the backs of the legs. Tailbone is up to the sky. Tucking the armpits in, broadening the shoulders, before coming to a still downward facing dog pose. One more inhale, and one more exhale. On the next inhale, walking the feet one footstep at a time towards the wrists. Feet at the top of the mat, hip width distance apart. Inhale, hands to shins for a halfway lift, nice flat back. Before you exhale and fold, crossing the elbows and swaying gently from side to side. Try to bring the weight to the fronts of your feet, letting the head hang heavy, stretching out the spine. Maybe do a few dips back and forth. Just hanging out before slowly, one vertebra at a time. Slight bend in the knees, rolling the spine up. Inhaling the arms up above the head. Hands come together as you exhale, hands to a prayer at heart center. Take a nice deep inhale here, filling the lungs. One more exhale. Before on the next inhale, reaching the hands up high and forward fold. We're going through a vinyasa here, so hands to shins or fingertips to the mat as you reach up for a halfway lift. Exhale, fold, stepping the right foot back, stepping the left foot back, finding your high plank. Option to drop the knees here or lower halfway down for a full chaturanga. And inhale, lifting the chest, keeping the thighs above the ground. And exhaling to our downward facing dog. Taking a deep breath in here. And an exhale as you ground down into the left foot. And then on the next inhale, bringing the right foot up for a three-legged dog before stepping the foot between the hands and adjusting the back foot so that it's at a 45-degree angle. Heel is planted down and lifting up to find our warrior one pose. Hips should be squared towards the front of the mat, reaching the arms up. And then on the next exhale, hands come down either side of the right foot before stepping the right foot all the way through and up for that three-legged dog. Option here to open the hip by bending the knee and opening up to the side. You can look under your left armpit for your foot. And then coming back down to find downward facing dog. On the next inhale, the left leg goes up, three-legged dog. And step the foot between the hands, adjusting that back right foot to 45-degree angles before coming up for your warrior one. Taking a nice inhale here, making sure the hips are squared towards the front of the mat as much as you can, engaging the glutes, and then exhaling, the hands come either side of the left foot before the left foot steps back. And we move through our vinyasa, lower halfway down to chaturanga as you exhale. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale, finding downward facing dog. Begin to walk the hands back towards the feet so that you find a forward fold at the back of your mat. Before inhaling for a halfway lift, flat back. Hands can be on the shins or fingertips to the mat. And then exhale, forward fold. Bending into the knees, rolling up the spine as you inhale, the arms go up to the sky. And then exhale, hands to a prayer at heart center. Taking a breath here before inhaling, again the arms up to the sky. And exhaling halfway down, so stopping with the back nice and flat. At a 90-degree angle, we're going to inhale, lifting the hands up behind you, stretching the front of the shoulders before walking the hands forward to find our high plank, ready for another vinyasa. So exhale, lower halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, tops of the toes are on the mat. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Before stepping the foot between the hands, we're going to parallel park the left foot against the edge of the back of the mat before inhaling, open to warrior two, checking that the toes are visible on the inside of the knee before settling our gaze to our right fingertips, bending into the right knee as much as possible. Taking a few breaths here before we flip the right palm, reaching it forward, and as we exhale, reverse warrior, reaching the right arm up to the sky, inching the left hand down the leg before bringing the right elbow to the right knee and inhaling for an extended side angle, really stretching the left side of the body here, keeping the bend in the right knee. Inhaling, returning to our warrior two, gaze is over the right fingertips before windmilling the hands down, right foot stepping back to join the left in our downward facing dog. This time we inhale the left leg up to the sky, stepping the foot between the hands and parallel parking that right foot before inhaling open to our warrior two on the other side. Bending into the left knee now, keeping the hips open to the side of the mat. Arms are nice and straight, shoulders drop away from the ears, flip the palm, and as you exhale, finding our reverse warrior on the other side. On the next inhale, bringing the left elbow to the left knee, reaching the right arm overhead for an extended side angle. And then exhaling back to our warrior two position. Inhaling here. And then exhaling, coming back to our downward facing dog. The left foot steps back. We come up onto our tippy toes, rolling forward straight into the vinyasa. Exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, lifting the chest, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take a few breaths here. Just once again checking in with the quality of your breath. How is it different from before the beginning of the practice? Is it a bit faster now, a bit warmer? Exhaling all of the air out before you inhale as you walk the hands back towards the feet. Inhale, lift, halfway lift, flat back, and then exhale, forward fold. Before rolling the spine all the way up, hands come up to the sky, up above your head. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Before inhaling, once again the arms go up to the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Coming for that halfway lift as you inhale. And then exhaling, walking the hands to the top of the mat, find high plank. Exhale, lower halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, lifting the thighs off the mat. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg goes up to the sky, three-legged dog, before stepping the foot between the hands and lowering the left knee down to the ground and tops of the toes to the mat before you inhale, lifting the chest, lifting the arms for a crescent lunge, making sure hips are squared towards the front of the mat, really stretching that left hip before bringing the hands down either side of the foot, lifting the right toes and then stretching the right leg straight, hips go back. Arms walk forward for a half Hannemann, half splits here. Really stretching into the back of that right leg before coming forward, finding your crescent lunge again. And this time walking the right foot out to the edge of the mat at a 45-degree angle, grounding down into the left hand. We're going to inhale, the right arm goes up to the sky, twisting, before placing the right hand just above the knee and opening up the hip as much as you can, letting the right edge of the foot come down to the ground. Really stretching into those hips. Keeping the left shoulder down away from the ear. There's an option to bend your left foot and grasp it with your right hand, pulling the foot towards your sit bones for an extra stretch along the front side of the body. Windmilling the right hand down, right foot steps back, downward facing dog. Now for the other side, we're going to first do a vinyasa, coming to our plank, lowering to chaturanga, inhaling to upward facing dog, and exhaling, downward facing dog. This time we will inhale the left leg up to the sky for three-legged dog. Exhale, step the foot between the hands, low lunge, lowering the right knee down, and inhaling, lifting the arms, lifting the chest, squaring the hips towards the top of the mat and really stretching the right hip now. One more inhale here, And then exhale, bringing the hands down either side of the foot as you lift the left toes and extend the hips back, stretching into the back of the left leg now. Really feeling that stretch on the back of the left leg. Before we come forward to our crescent lunge, walking the left foot out to the edge of the mat, it's at 45 degrees, grounding down in the right hand and inhaling to open the left hand up to the sky before pushing just above the left knee, opening up the hips, really stretching the hips downward, making sure the right shoulder is away from the ear, not a hunched neck. Option again to bend the right knee, pulling it in towards the sit bone with the left hand, feeling a nice twist as well as a deep stretch in the front of the right leg here. Releasing that back leg down, bringing the left foot to join the right in a brief downward dog before we come to plank, and let the knees go wide, big toes come to touch, finding our child's pose. Really taking a few breaths here. Notice how you're feeling, perhaps a bit warmer now, a bit more open. Notice how this child's pose is different from the first one we took at the beginning of the class. Coming forward to our tabletop and through to high plank, we're going to run through a vinyasa at your own pace, meeting together in downward facing dog. On the next inhale, lifting the right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, step the foot between the hands, coming up on the left toes as you inhale for high lunge, lifting the arms up into the sky, opening the chest. And then exhaling, hands come down. We're going to walk the hands around all the way on the outside edge of our mat to find our back foot now. Bending into the left knee, we're going to inhale to rise for a low lunge on the other side. Right leg is strong and straight as you lower down again, walking the hands back to the middle. This time for a wide-legged fold, we're going to inhale flat back, making sure the toes are pointing slightly in, the heels are pointing slightly out, before walking the hands back as far as possible. Really feeling the stretch in those hips. Exhaling everything where you are before inhaling, coming back to a flat back halfway lift. And then exhaling, walking the hands over to the right foot. Try and grasp the right leg with the left hand. And an option for the right hand to reach up to the sky here for a nice little wide-legged twist. Bringing the right hand down, coming back to the center, inhaling for that halfway lift. Before exhaling, walking the hands over to the back foot. Right hand reaches for the left ankle. And again, you have the option of lifting the left arm up to the sky, really feeling that twist. Before bringing the hands down back to the center, adjusting so that the toes are now pointing out, the heels are pointing in. You can heel toe them a bit closer together before squatting down and inhaling the torso up, keeping a nice bend in the knees. Until we inhale, straighten the legs, hands come together in prayer. And then exhale, bending into the knees, coming to find our squat again. Inhale as you lift the arms up, straightening the legs. And exhaling, hands to heart, finding our squat. Inhale, reaching the hands up to the sky. And then bringing the heels and toes even closer together now. Toes out, heels in. Coming down to find Malasana squat. Elbows are pushing into the inner knees. And heels can be down on the ground or slightly lifted as you bring the hands forward, walking the right hand over to the right, opening the left arm up to the sky, feeling a nice twist here, opening the chest as much as possible before bringing the hands down. This time walking the left hand to the left, opening the right arm up towards the sky, and then bringing the hands back to prayer before dropping down onto the sit bones and bringing the soles of the feet to touch. Grasping the toes with the hands, you can give the knees some little kicks, flapping like butterfly wings, really feeling into those hips. Then we're going to straighten the right leg out to the front of the mat, bringing the left foot to the inner right thigh. Keeping the hips square now, we're going to inhale the hands up to the sky and then exhale, folding into the center, reaching the hands forward as much as possible, keeping the right foot flexed up towards the sky. Taking a few breaths here, each exhale sinking your chest a little lower to the ground. And on the next inhale, walking the hands up towards you, inhaling the hands up to the sky. Right hand reaches for the left thigh as you reach the left arm over, stopping here or reaching for the toes. The main point here is to open the chest up. So it could be this level here or reaching all the way for those toes. Stretching the chest up towards the sky, feeling an excellent twist. Inhale, bringing the hand behind the hips, reaching the right arm up and over. Lifting the hips up to the sky, and exhale, bringing the hips back down again. Right foot bends in, left leg extends out, making sure sit bones are comfy. Inhaling the hands up to the sky, and exhaling, forward fold to the center. So you should feel a stretch on the left and right hips here. Each inhale lengthening the spine a little, each exhale extending and dropping the chest a little lower to the ground, making sure that left foot is still flexed up to the sky before walking the hands back towards you, inhaling the hands up to the sky. This time the left hand reaches for the right thigh and the right arm reaching over either to your level or, if you can, reaching for those toes, using the left hand to push open the chest, pulling on the toes to open that twist even more. Before finally inhaling the right hand down behind the hips and the left arm goes up, hips rise up, keeping the left leg nice and straight, and exhaling down to find a seat. This time both feet come to touch, again holding them with your toes and just flapping the knees up and down, really loosening those hips. Next we're going to send the feet out wide to the corners of the mats. Toes are flexed up towards the sky, really opening up the hips, making sure that the chest is squared forward, nice and open. We're not hunching the shoulders. Before walking the hands forward as far as possible, trying to keep the back straight. Imagine a sort of cow spine coming in here. When you've reached your absolute limit, finally letting the head come down where it will. Might just be a few inches, might be all the way flat down on your mat. Wherever your level is today, that's absolutely fine. Keeping the feet flexed as you breathe through the hips before finally walking the hands back up towards the body, letting the left foot join the right at the top of the mat, and then pulling the left knee up and in towards yourself. Right leg is extended straight forward, and then stepping that left foot over the right and reaching the left arm up behind, putting it behind you, before reaching the right arm up, bending the elbow to the outside of the left knee for a twist. Each inhale extending the spine, and each exhale twisting a little deeper. The gaze right now over the left shoulder, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, trying to keep the spine nice and long. And then inhaling, coming back to the center, lifting the left foot up, straightening the leg, holding for a second before lowering the left foot down and bringing the right knee up into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze before stepping the right foot over the left leg. Right arm goes behind you, and inhale the left arm up before bending into the elbow outside of the right knee for a twist on the other side. Remember, each inhale lengthens the spine as though someone were pulling a string up on the top of your head, pulling you up, and each exhale deepens the twist. Gazing over the right shoulder now. One more inhale brings you back to center, lifting the right leg, holding it straight, foot is up, and lowering down. Excellent. Bringing the hands down either side of you, bending the knees, making sure the heels are close to the sit bones, and slowly, 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 keeping the arms out in front of you, rolling down to bring the back down onto the mat, knees pointing up at the sky. Bringing the feet up to the sky, hands reaching up, reaching them up, giving the ankles and the wrists some nice movement here, rolling them round, letting the lymph flow through your body before bringing the outside edge of the feet against the palms for happy baby, rolling from side to side here. Really feeling into the hips, flattening the back down onto the mat, keeping the head down, the neck long. And then as we exhale, bringing the heels close to the sit bones, we're going to bring the left leg up, flexing the foot, and then crossing it over the right knee for a figure four, reaching the hands between for the shin and pulling them closer towards you. Trying to keep that sit bone, that tailbone pointed down towards the mat. Really feeling the stretch in your hips here and your groin. Pointing the right toes. From here we're going to make a capital T shape with the arms, flipping the palms down before rolling over onto our right side. So the left shoulder stays firmly planted on the ground. Both legs are sent to the right side. The gaze is over the left shoulder for a nice twist here. Taking a few breaths. Not to worry if the legs are not touching on the right side, if your knees are not on the ground. As long as your left shoulder is down and you're feeling a good twist in the spine. Noticing your breath. And then coming back to the center, making sure heels are close to your sit bones before lifting the right leg up, flexing the foot and crossing over just below the knee. The ankle is touching the thigh as you reach the hands forward, pulling in on that left shin, pointing the left toes, really feeling into this figure four stretch. Taking a few breaths here before we send the hands out in a capital T in preparation for our twist, and letting the legs fall over onto the left side this time, making sure the right shoulder is grounded down. As you twist the legs to the left, the gaze goes over to the right side. enjoying that twist. And then bringing the knees back up for a little squeeze. Give yourself a nice big hug. I like to give each knee a little kiss. Say thank you for supporting me in my yoga practice. And then once again, reaching those hands and feet up, giving the wrists a roll, and then lowering hands and legs down. Arms go out wide, feet go out wide. Get out any little wriggles, distractions. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the face, and just really grounding down for our Shavasana. Closing the eyes down. Taking one deep inhale through the nose. And exhale, sigh it all out through the mouth. And really just grounding down here. Imagine that a heavy weight is filling up your two big toes, making them grow heavy. Let that weight sink down into all of your toes, into the bottoms of your feet, into your heels. Let both your feet feel heavy as they sink down into the ground. Letting the ankles grow heavy, the shins, the calves, the knees, all sinking down into the mat and growing heavy and relaxed. Feeling that weight spreading up your calves and into your hips, into your glutes, your back, all growing heavy and sinking down into the mat. Let that heaviness spread into your shoulder blades, into your biceps, into your elbows and your forearms, into your wrists and your palms and your fingers, while all of your body is now relaxed and sinking deep down into the mat. Finally, the back of your neck, the back of your head grows heavy, and all of you sinks down into the mat, heavy and relaxed. Letting the breath do what it will, not trying to control it in any way, just observing, letting your mind be clear, no busy thoughts. And now just noticing the belly gently rising and falling with each breath. Gradually coming back to the room, maybe giving your fingers a little wriggle, maybe wriggling the toes a little, just starting to feel back into your body, maybe rolling the wrists and the ankles, keeping the eyes closed, just slowly waking up the body, interlacing the fingers at the chest and then reaching the arms overhead as you inhale, pointing the toes, really stretching, a whole body stretch now. Before you exhale, the knees come into the chest, give yourself another little squeeze, maybe rock gently from side to side, before eventually rolling over onto your favorite side, using the bottom arm as a pillow. And whenever you're ready, the top arm pushes you up into a comfortable seat. Our eyes are still closed at this point. Keeping the energy inside, bringing our hands to a prayer at heart center. Just remembering that intention that we set at the beginning of the practice and feeling this calm, gentle energy inside of you right now. Just remembering throughout the day as you come back to the breath that you can come back to this calm, beautiful feeling. Thank you all for practicing with me today. The divine light in me recognizes and honors the divine light in you. Namaste.